Halo guys, sebelumnya ayo subscribe dulu guys. Akan ada info-info menarik lainnya di dunia bisnis digital guys. Terima kasih.
Now we are backed by, we are very fortunate to be backed by some of the largest crypto funds out there in crypto space. Kinetic Capital is a top crypto fund from Hong Kong. They have backed a lot of very successful projects like Brazil and a lot of other folks. TLDR is from UK. They have also done a lot of investment on a lot of very successful projects. QCP is from Singapore, and interestingly, we also have Alpha Block. Alpha Block is actually part of Alpha JWC. Park Jeffrey is unable to, Alpha JWC is unable to invest in cryptocurrencies at the moment, so they set up a Alpha Block to invest, and we are very happy that they have chosen to invest in our project. Yeah. Okay, so of course, what we do here is actually helping you to maintain your data privacy, and why should you be concerned about your data is really because data is a big thing. Data is the fuel to a lot of your new technology, your IoT, your machine learning, your AI. All this would not be possible without data. Okay, they are here. Okay, and violation of privacy is real. So I think recently everybody heard about the Huawei incident, the 5G, whereby US is saying that, hey, you should know there's a lot of loops for you to do spying and stuff like that. But while Huawei is willing to sign an anti-spying agreement with UK government for to ensure that they are not giving any information up to the governments, Facebook, Amazon, Google, they refuse to sign it with the UK government. So actually this tells you a lot, that a lot of our data are being taken away from us, and the rights of the control of the data is not with us. And a lot of them actually are with all these big companies. Thank you. So these are some of the very famous examples of privacy violations. I think the easiest to relate for everybody is Facebook Cambridge Analytica issue. There were even some suggestions that Donald Trump actually exploited this data so that he know who are the people that he should target, and that's how indirectly he managed to get elected as the most powerful man in the world. Next, please. Right. Okay. Now, this is the current issue with today's data economy. Firstly, app users like us, you are not aware of who uses your data for what. And of course, you are not rewarded every time your data is being sold. So you are the product. Every time, for us, especially Asians, we don't want to pay for any apps. So end up, we are the product. They are selling our data out. And we created all these huge, gigantic companies that are exploiting all this data. Now, all these app developers, they could be e-commerce, they could be news, they could be games. However, their data are not complete on the user's profile. So I think you can quite safely say that the companies that have a full spectrum of our data is Amazon, Google, Microsoft, this kind of huge company. And so this, they could have demographic data, interest data, your mobile activity data, but it's very hard for them to sell this data because it's not a full spectrum of the user's data. So they are being forced to go through all these centralized data intermediaries. And these data intermediaries cause a lot of uneven distribution of revenue. So a lot of time, they earn a lot of money, they don't earn much money, you don't earn anything, right? Mm-hmm. And the data buyers like market research firms and all the brands, they get a lot of data, but they are unable to confirm the source of the data. They do not know whether this data are real data or not. Like when we work with some of the market research firms, they actually say that when they do some checks on the data, they found that some of the data points are people in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. How can you get data from there, right? Yeah. Thank you. So, something is wrong.
Okay.
So how do we intend to solve this problem to give a more a better data marketplace? So we are introducing Swipe Network that will link directly the sell side of the data people, the app developers and app users, to the buy side of the data buyers, which are the brands and the market research firm. So how do we do that? We introduce an SDK approach. Now, our team has experience in launching our own mobile apps. Actually, growing user is a very expensive and a very challenging task for any startups. So we feel that by using an SDK approach, a software development kit, any app developer can just embed our SDK, and we will empower them with the capability to collect the data, right? So and it also helps the Swipe Network to scale very fast. You launch an app, it may take you 2 years to get 500,000 users. But if I work with 10 apps out there that already have 500,000 users, immediately we will get access to 5 million users. So this really helps to tackle one of the key issues in blockchain space right now, adoption. A lot of projects out there are telling you, I'm going to send people to the moon, but who's going to do that? So a lot of times there is no adoption, even though there's a lot of promises being made, right? And next, of course, right now we talk a lot about giving the power of the data back to the users. So we have built a privacy and data sharing protocol whereby all your data are fully encrypted before it leaves your devices, if they go through our platform. So no matter where you send the data to, this data is already encrypted. Without your private key, anybody or nobody can access it. So it allows data buyers to say, hey, I want to buy your data. No, you as user have to approve it before I can see that data. So you will always be sure that your data is only given to the person that you want to give it to, right? And lastly, right now, of these 3 C's, we are looking at compliance. Our system design is designed towards compliance to global data privacy frameworks like GDPR, which is in Europe, and in Singapore, PDPA, Personal Data Protection Act. So we want to also make sure that our data are in compliance, right? That we are working towards this data marketplace. Now, these are some of the sell side of the apps that have already signed up with us. So we have already more than 20. We get a lot of this kind of questions every day. They say, how much have we raised? Like we already have actually signed up with more than 20 apps that that wants to work with us. Reason being is that we give them more data when they share the data with us, right? And of course, all these have to be the data the users needs to give their consent, right? And we give additional revenue from the monetization. Actually, for mobile apps, if you want to sell your data, if you don't have excess of 500,000 users, it's very difficult to achieve selling data because you don't have enough data points. Market research firm will be interested, right? Okay, so with these 15 apps that are with us, we actually have access to more than 2 million users in Asia, right? I think Sapusa is one of the mobile nodes top-up gateway here in Indonesia, and Banda Interactive gaming studio. So right now we are also looking for a lot of partnership opportunities to work with a lot of app studio, game studios. Reason being, they can bring maybe 10 apps or 20 apps straight away onto the network. They help us to grow very quickly. Next, please. So that was the buy side. That was the sell side of the data, whereby they bring about all the apps and apps users. So now we also already have all these ready data buyer partners that we have spent the last 2 years doing our business development on, right? These are blockchain partners, which I think a lot of blockchain data projects, actually from what we observe is that they still may not have a very clear strategy on how to get adoption, unlike us whereby we have a very clear SDK approach. One of our biggest partners is GMO Research. This is a public listed company in Tokyo. Acorn is the leading market research firm in Singapore and Hong Kong. And Performance is from Korea. Analyze is from China. So we also have ready data buyers in our ecosystem. They are just waiting for us to get the coin out there, and then things will start to move. Next, please. Okay, how does the swap network works? Okay, the SDK will help to gather all these different types of data that we can get. Your behavioral data, your demographics data, your interest data, transaction data. Now, why through a SDK approach is that these days I think it's quite, we can be pretty certain that your mobile phone actually generates the most amount of data. Everybody looks at your phone first thing when you wake up, and you will look at your phone until the phone falls on your face before you sleep. Right? So, in essence, all these are data points to us. So we know what time you wake up, we know what time you sleep, we know where your location is all the time. It's just whether, do you give us the consent to share the data? And your mobile phone has got an array of sensors, from location to which is the network you're using, it tells us a lot about you, actually. So this will then, the data will then be encrypted and stored in a decentralized storage space. For this, we have identified IPFS as the one that we'll be using. The smart contract will govern the data campaign. So every time the data buyers want to buy your data, a smart contract will be created, and then it will ensure that the data is properly fingerprint so that we know that it's from real users. Right now, I think in the marketplace, there's a lot of companies out there that are generating fake data. So market research firms are trying very hard to get good quality source of data. And of course, as per just now, we talked about the consent piece where it governs the data sharing privacy protocol. So users must consent before their data is shared. And of course, lastly, the payment and distribution. So data buyers say, I want to pay $1 to get X amount of data. So you make sure that this $1 is distributed fairly between the app developers and all their users, right? Of course, then we have an analytics engine, because if you tell me that, hey, if all the data are fully encrypted, then how can I know which are the which are the people I should talk to? So we will have a meta data. First, means I will roughly know, Anton is around 30 years old, he lives in Jakarta, he's a male. But I wouldn't have that in-depth knowledge of Anton's behavioral until he give me that consent. So I wouldn't know that Anton likes to buy this, he usually spend this amount of money and all this thing. But at least I will have a rough idea that he's my target market that I should be talking to. So the data analytics engine will be doing that piece, and all this data will be presented in the decentralized data marketplace to be sold. Okay, these are some of the capabilities of our SDK. We have a swipe push that push full screen content onto the user's mobile lock screen. Swipe ads that will give content to the users so that we know what are the type of content that the users are interested to interact with. Swipe mission, I will go a little bit more in depth. Basically, it's a more interactive type of content, or like surveys, or polls, or they need to do some installs, they need to do some referrals, and then they can get more rewards from this, right? And lastly, our Swipe Marketplace SDK is, when more apps come into our network, we will allow, because it's powered by the Swipe tokens at the back, so all these apps can then cross-sell their own in-app purchases to these users. And we hope that this will bring higher value to the users that are in our network. So maybe you are playing Candy Crush, and you can go to Clash of Clans and buy some things because of the data you are contributing. And we hope that this will grow the users' value. Instead of being just on one of the apps that we have, they can be on 5 or 6 of the apps that we that on our network. So all these created different types of data, which will then be aggregated, analyzed, and monetized through our Swipe Grade. that will help to form a complete picture of this user's data. Next, please. Okay, value proposition of Swipe Network. I think this is pretty standard among a lot of blockchain projects. Privacy, user engagement, rewards, auditability, complete user profile is more for our space data and digital advertising, and the contractualized data. Next, please. Okay, token economy. Let me just fly by this a little bit here. It's for rewards, payment, and staking. Let me share with you a little bit on the staking data. We are right now. We just announced this staking a few days ago, and I find that it's personally a very interesting mechanism that we have introduced. Next, please. Roadmap. Okay, so now we are at Q2 of 19, and after our IEO, we will start to introduce mass adoption. All these are already almost completed, or we are the blockchain project that once we complete our IEO, we have a product ready, an ecosystem ready. So we have spent like close to 2 years working on that already. So after our IEO, we will start to get mass adoption. We will start to do a lot of BD work to get more ads into the space, because we already have a lot of data buyers in our. We are selling total supply 1.5 billion worth of tokens. We are selling 375 million for 25%. That is 25% of our tokens here are available for sale. The rest, 40% is in community development pool. 15% are for founders and team. This has a 2 years lockup. Advisors 10%, reserve pool 10%. Now fund utilization, majority will be development and manpower. 25% in marketing, and remaining 17 and 10 are for legal and administrative support. Price is actually, we are accepting leads, ETH, 10 USDT as well as IDR. Total Crypto just had a discussion with us that they will be accepting IDR as well.
Iya, nggak apa-apa.
Hi, welcome. Right. So that's about, yeah. So our hard cap is 1.8 million. So the valuation of the tokens as a totality is 7.2 million USD, right? Because we are selling 25% for 1.8 million USD. All these figures have been derived before the Binance Dex confirmation. So actually you can see that it wasn't priced very expensively if you compare to a lot of other blockchain projects. Next, please. So exchange partners, we are doing IEO on Tokonomi and Toko Crypto, and the public sales will happen on 5th to 18th of August. Right now, pre-IEO is happening on Toko Crypto. If you that we want to sell to this data buying company, and this data buying company from Korea is actually very interested in Indonesia's crypto enthusiast data, right? Because if you are, that's why we and they have actually signed a 1-year subscription with us to buy our data. So that's why we have introduced Swipe Data Vault. Okay, what you need to do is to download our app called Blog Post from Play Store and App Store, and then you stake your tokens, and then you share your data, and you do a survey every month. It's a guarantee that you will get a survey minimum one survey every month, right? So for every 20,000 tokens you stake, which on IEO price will be like almost $100 US, $96 US if I remember wrongly, you will get paid 0.5 USDC. USDC is stable coin, not in swipe coins. Reason being, we already have business, so we are able to power it in stable coin. Now we see that makes it very different from a lot of other projects. They will tell you, I'll give you another 10% more swipe if you do it every day. But by awarding you with their own coins, which they minted from air, and if they never support that coin properly with proper management of the coin, even when you receive it, it could just go downhill. So they can tell you, oh, I give you $100,000 worth of coin. When you go to market, it could be just worth 1% or 2% of the value. So we believe in, since we have already business, so we are able to give it to you in USDC. Right? Reason being we give USDC is for security, so that whichever the wallet that we receive the tokens to be staked, we will return the USDC because ERC20 wallets straight from that wallet. This is more for security concerns, in case the users got phishing attacks or what. I think this is a bit very in-depth into our business strategy. So we have two-pronged strategy in our business. One is a B2C strategy, whereby it's about working with mobile apps that we have been talking about in the presentation. Reason being, these are, I think, the figures that I'm sure Indonesians will find it very proud to the third largest market in the world, high number of mobile subscribers, high percentage unbanked. So that's why we see Indonesia as a very key market that we should start our journey in. Now, on the other piece, this is the part that we have been working more on the background, because it's more to B2B. It's for any companies that want to share their data, their information securely. That's why they can use our data sharing and privacy protocol. Right now, we have a POC with one of the fintech company here in Indonesia, and they're sharing the financial information to one of the banks in Indonesia. But I cannot divulge too much because of the NDA that we have signed. So this is the B2B space that we are also working on. Next. This is a bit of history of us. We had launched several apps. Aguila Rewards was in Philippines. So we work with the largest OEM platform manufacturer there, called MyPhone. It's a bit like MyPhone is equivalent to Evercross. Yes, Evercross in Indonesia. So what our partnership with them works is how our partnership will work with them is like this. They will preload our SDK on their phone before they sell it to the market. My phone sells around 2 million phones each year. Okay? Cepat was launched in Indonesia. We work with AMG. AMG is your focus media screens on all the lift lobbies that you have. And they also bid for quite a lot of billboards. They belong to them. As well as I think recently the MRT project is also being taken care by AMG. So we launched a sub-crypto initiative in July 17. Our team also is organizer of Ethereum meetup in Indonesia. Okay. So and this is the crypto news app that we have launched for this space. So if you like, please download blog posts. Then you get full screen crypto information on your mobile lock screen. For Android, Apple they don't allow. So you will just get an aggregated news channel. Next, please. So leadership team, it's me, more than 10 years in IBM. Andrew and Quay, they are from Singtel NCS. Ian was from McKinsey and Telkomsel. Manda, our most, I think he's right now like a crypto celebrity here in Indonesia. Of course, I want to bring attention to Rebecca Khan. She is giving us a lot of consultancy on our data and analytics that we are working on. She used to be the ex-Nielsen Company's managing director of Southeast Asia. Right? And our very stellar list of advisors, Jehan and John are from Kinetic Capital. I mentioned they are one of the largest funds from Hong Kong. Sean Jian, co-founder of Digix Global. They did ICO before the term ICO was invented. Tom is from TLDR Capital. They have successfully helped a lot of crypto companies did a very successful marketing. So they are advising us on marketing related. Josh, QCP Capital, ex-Gojek VP. So he's also helping us to build our ecosystem to know more app developers. And at the same time, QCB is also a crypto fund themselves, so they have also invested in us. Kyber Network, one of the most successful ICO from Singapore, raised more than 50 million. Yaron is helping us a lot on our smart contract, the tech part behind the scene. Ren is one of the most influential crypto influencers in the world, not just in our region. He is the host of CNBC Crypto Africa. Right? Really very famous guy. When you go to international conference, everybody knows him. Jeffrey Joe. Jeffrey is a JWC managing partner, Alpha JWC. I think you can call them the top 2 VC funds in Indonesia. Megai and Pak Teddy, our most I think we can say we have been working there for almost since the start of this project. They are really our most powerful supporter, right? So they lead AMG Group, right? But Adit is CEO of Mahaka Group. So you can see that we have got a lot of traditional advertising media people that are helping us in building our ecosystem here, right? Of course, Toko Crypto CEO Xue Kai, our very good friend. Next, please. So our partners, these are mostly crypto partners, and these are mostly data-related partners. So just now I mentioned GMO Research, Acorn, Performance, Panaland.